You know, when you think about it, there are some things that seem like they're just made to go together. You've got cake and ice cream, you've got Oreos and milk, Han Solo and Chewbacca, 3PO and R2, the Lost Gray and the Fulcrum. Time to review this Ultrasabers tandem right here in the Chronicles. Friends and neighbors, how we doing? It's good to have you here. Jedi Phoenix once again with you. And as always, if you are new to the channel, I bid you welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss anything. So, for this review, I figured since a lot of Ultrasabers promotion has the two of these together at the same time, I figured the best thing to do would be to review them all in one video. We have, of course, the Lost Gray and the Fulcrum. One thing I need to mention right off the bat, though, is that even though they're frequently paired together, and a lot of people buy them at the same time together, they're not sold together. They are sold separately. So, you can keep that in mind when you're doing your shopping. These are, of course, inspired by Ahsoka Tano's dual hilts. The Lost Gray, of course, is more of her offhand hilt, and the Fulcrum would be her main hilt. Let me give you, well, I'm going to start with the Lost Gray. Makes it easier for me to hold one at a time. Now, even though this is meant to be the offhand hilt, some people might look at this and see that it is a little big for an offhand hilt. This is about 12 inches long or so, give or take a few centimeters. So depending on how you swing your lightsabers, this might be a little big for an offhand, but you might be able to get away with it. Maybe. Some of you who are more adept at swinging these than other people might be able to handle this as an offhand saber. But because of the length, it does work as a main saber too, for a two-hand grip. This is a nice look, I have to admit. Bit of a shroud for the emitter. The blade sits about 2 inches in if you're measuring from the LED to about here. If you're going to take the measurement up to about here, that adds about an extra 1.5 inches or so. But blade's pretty secure in there. I've never really had a problem with it. I don't know if this would be one saber that you really twirl with as far as the Obi-Wan or anything like that goes. Only because of the way the emitter is. It's got, as nice as this is, the groove I don't think is really user-friendly, for lack of a better word for it, as far as swinging this. You can definitely swing it around, don't get me wrong. You just might have to adjust your grip, especially if you're used to having your hand up high on the emitter. But the hilt is pretty clean. It does have the button here, and another button here on the back end. And then, of course, you got your AV switch and the cover checker wheel, but none of this really gets in the way of your grip, I don't think. I mean, the button is there, but it's far down enough that you're not, really catching your fingers on it. So you can get a decent enough grip on this and give it some good swinging. So, just to show off the color of the blade, I have it muted. But I've got this one in blue violet amethyst instead of the regular violet. Man, that is bright. Even in the daylight in the room, that shows up nice. So the reason I have these muted is because I've already done the font demonstration in a separate video, and I don't want to get too repetitive, So that is the Lost Gray. Let me give you one more gander at it. The pommel, I gotta show that off. Actually, you know what? Let me unmute this so you can get an idea of how loud it is. Okay.
Confirmed.
As usual, loud and crisp, very clear. You can swing this around pretty well. Alright. So that is the Lost Gray. The Fulcrum is larger, of course. Measures about, well, from the tip of the emitter to the base of the pommel, I measured about 14.5 inches. So this is definitely meant to be like a main saber. And as you can see, it's got these fins, I guess you could call them, near the emitter. You've got your switch box, this little feature here, two buttons right here, and a larger one down here near the base, and plus you got the Covertech wheel. And this particular saber does have the switch plate. The blade goes about, again, 2 inches in if you're going to measure from the LED to about here. But the shroud adds an extra inch. And if you are used to sabers that have switch plates, or switch boxes, I guess, is what they're really called. If you're used to these kind of sabers, like, say, the Graflex or the Emperor's Hand, you won't have a hard time with this saber. Okay, even though it's got all different buttons and doodads on it, it's not as clean of a hilt as the Lost Gray, so you might have to experiment a little bit to find your ideal grip for it. But like I said, if you're used to a switch box, you won't have a hard time. If you're not used to a saber with a switch box, like, say, the Guardian, for example, you might have to adjust to it a little bit and get used to it. But you'll get used to it. This isn't, even if you end up having your hand over it, like I've got right now, it is not, it doesn't stick out that far that you're not going to really jam your hand up. And you'll find that, again, especially with these fins, near the emitter is not an ideal choke point for spinning this, but you just got to adjust your grip, and you'll get used to it. And once you're used to it, once you get a rhythm going, it is not that bad. This particular saber I have got in Arctic Blue, which is a bit of a lighter shade than the regular Guardian Blue. And you know what? Why don't I do the same thing? Let me unmute this so you can get an idea of how loud it is.
Confirm.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out. There we go.
Confirmed.
All right. There's my mic. They both have silver flash, by the way. FEC's do. So like I said, once you get a rhythm going, you won't find it that hard. You just have to get used to all the different things that are on this hilt. That's pretty much all. And once you do, it's perfectly fine. And the additions to the hilt do make this, for a shelf piece, this really looks nice. So, one thing I will say, if you caught my unboxing, from the time I ordered it, or these I should say, the time I ordered these to the time of delivery, it was less than a week. I got lucky. Plain and simple. I don't know how, I don't know. It was just the right place at the right place, right time, right timing. If you go to order these, count on a long wait, only because of how popular these hilts are. And as I said, these are not sold together, they are sold separate, which is a bit of an advantage if you might want one over the other. You won't have to get, you won't have to order both. So, but I ordered them both because they do kind of go together. As you can see, they do have similarities. You have the pommel, and then you have the little shroud, I guess this is, on the hilts. Very stylish, I think. So that will do it for this video. If you have any questions about these or any of the sabers that I review, feel free to leave me a comment, please. I love hearing from everybody. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You can also find me on Instagram. I will leave a link in the description as I always do. And until the next video, as always, be good, be well, be safe, and be happy.